The Angostura Phosphate is one of my favorite non-alcoholic drinks, but it actually tastes like a cocktail. It has 1 teaspoon of Angostura bitters in it, so it's quite intense, but it is well balanced, and most people who try it tend to like it. It's been around since 1899, and it's packed with flavor. I think everybody should try it, and I think every bar should have it on its menu. As I mentioned, this drink comes from 1899, and it is a phosphate. Now, phosphates were a class of drinks that you'd find at the soda fountain back in the 1800s and all the way up to about 1930, 1940. And the idea was that it was hard to get fresh lemons and limes because refrigeration hadn't been invented yet. So if you're in a northern climate like New York or Minnesota, you're not going to get a lot of fresh fruits up to those regions in the winter in the 1800s. So you still needed to balance the sweetness of your drinks. So acid phosphate was invented in 1868, and it was invented as a health tonic, as all things seemed to be invented back then. So pharmacists adopted it and sold it, but then they realized it worked really well in drinks because it added the necessary acidity to balance the sweetness in their soda fountain drinks. And one of the most famous phosphates is Coca-Cola. When it was invented, it was actually a phosphate. Now bitters, they came from the pharmacy as well. They actually, all the way through history, we've used herbs and spices and roots and substances as medicine. And though it's not so important today, back then it was perceived as healthful. So they often made tonics and stuff with them. Now Angostura was created in somewhere around 1828, maybe a little bit before, and it has been popular ever since. The reason is that it actually tastes good. So a lot of bitters didn't taste good, but Angostura was one of those ones that you could mix with drinks, and it enhanced flavor. It made things taste better. So it was inevitable that the combination of Angostura and phosphate was going to happen at some point in history, just because they probably sat beside each other on the shelves at most pharmacies. Now, the spatula said it was invented in 1899, and the Angostura phosphate was, but if you go back to DeForest Sack's book in 1892, there's a drink just called the Angostura, and it was listed under tonic drinks. The only difference between that drink and the Angostura phosphate was that the Angostura phosphate incorporates lemon syrup. The one called Angostura in the tonic drinks was just simple syrup. Now, phosphates never really made a crossover into the world of bars. There seems to be a dividing line between the soda jerk and the bartender. Though there are things that crossed over back and forth, the soda water being the most common. The reality is back in the early 1900s and late 1800s, the soda fountain did its thing and the bar did its thing. But the one drink that did seem to cross over was the Angostura phosphate. Now, they sold it at pharmacies as a hangover cure, and so it probably got adopted at bars for the same reason. You start to see it published in bar books in about 1910 in Jack's Manual, and then 1913 in Straub's. There's only a few phosphate recipes in these books. The other one would be the Riding Club cocktail and the Calumet cocktail. And as mentioned, it made sense for bars to carry it because they already had Angostura bitters for cocktails. They're already using soda water, and they generated a lot of hangovers for patrons, so some things just fit in. Now the recipe is quite simple. It's an ounce of lemon syrup. We're going to talk about the lemon syrup because it's a little different than lemonade type syrup. There's a teaspoon of Angostura bitters, which is obviously a little more than your usual 1 or 2 dashes, but that's what gives this drink its intensity. There's acid phosphate, which helps give it, most people describe it as sparkle or a tingle on your tongue, so it enhances the experience. And then a little bit of soda water. And so the keys to a lot of this stuff is not to over dilute with soda water. Obviously, some is required, and that's because it's a pretty strong drink if you just combine the syrup and Angostura. So to lighten it up, we add soda water, but it is not a highball. It should be in a short rocks glass, and maybe 1 to 2 ounces. Again, it's going to be on preference as usual. So to make the lemon syrup, you're going to need 4 ingredients. You're going to need lemons, you're going to need sugar, you're going to need some gum arabic, and you're going to need some lemon oil. Now, you're going to need 8 lemons, and there is no water in this recipe. We're solely going to be using the juice from the lemons to dissolve the sugar. Now, most people have questions about the gum arabic, and gum arabic serves a couple purposes in this. The first is that it's going to be an emulsifier. So if you're using the oil, oil and water don't mix, and oil and lemon juice don't mix. So you need something to emulsify it. Now, sugar does a pretty decent job, but the gum arabic will make sure it stays in solution. And that way, if you have your bottle sitting around for a week or 2, you're not going to get this oil slick of lemon oil sitting on top. You'll have a more consistent product if you use gum arabic. Now, the other benefit of gum arabic is it's going to increase the viscosity of your syrup. And then when you mix it in with the drink, that viscosity, when people drink it, it's going to linger longer on the tongue. And that's why this kind of drink seems to be more like a cocktail, and that you get a long flavor profile with this. So some non-alcoholic drinks, or most non-alcoholic drinks, are juicy. You can take a drink and then the flavor is gone. The only time you get the flavor is when you're actually drinking. With this one, because of the combination of ingredients and, importantly, gum arabic, you're going to get a lot more of the lingering flavor with the bitters. So it's more appealing in the sense that it seems like a cocktail, so you don't drink it as fast. Now, people will also say, do I have to use lemon oil? Now, you don't have to. What you can do is you can take your lemon and you can peel the peel off, avoiding as much pith as possible because it's a little bit bitter. And then, so you take the peel from all 8 lemons and then you mix it with the sugar. Now, I would recommend dispersing the gum arabic into the sugar first, and then adding the lemon peels and just putting that in a bowl in a bag and let it sit for a couple hours. What will happen is the sugar will draw out the oils and some of the moisture from the lemon peel, and you're going to end up with a lemon flavored sugar. It's going to be more like a paste. It's not necessarily granular anymore. But then what you're going to do is you're going to take that sugar paste, or lemony sugar paste, and you're going to put it in a pot, and you're going to take the juice of 8 lemons, which you're going to squeeze into the pot, and then you're going to mix that, and you're going to apply a gentle heat, and you're going to mix it until it's uniform. That way you can skip the lemon oil. Now, if you do this a lot, if you're at a bar, lemon oil is convenient. It's easy to find at grocery stores. You just have to buy the 100% lemon oil, and it's basically the same as doing the peels. But if you want to do an all-natural product from 3 ingredients, it can be done. It just takes a little bit longer. So if you're in a rush, you might need to do some prep time ahead. Let me show you how to make the syrup. to make the drink is pretty simple. Just take a cocktail shaker, add some ice, use a scoop, and you'll need 1 ounce of your syrup. Now it is cloudy, and that is one of the downsides of using gum arabic. I suspect if you used it without gum arabic, you'd get a nice clear solution. So if appearance is important to you, that might be worth looking into. Now, you can measure it or you can add dashes. Basically about 10 dashes is going to be half a teaspoon. If the bottle's full, you'll actually get smaller drops than it is if it's full. And then with this, you'll want a fair amount. Now, I've just gotten into the habit of measuring it that way. You can actually measure it out with a teaspoon. It's a little bit slower, but if it works for you, it works for you. Now you're just shaking to combine. You just want to make sure all the ingredients are mixed together. And then you take your glass. Now I always add my soda water first. So probably 2 ounces, maybe 3, and then add the drink or the mix. And there you have an Angostura Phosphate.